August 3, 1943, 11:20 a.m. Sicily, near Nicosia. The heat sits heavy inside the canvas hospital tent. Flies buzz against blood-stained bandages. Morphine lingers in the air. Somewhere outside, artillery rumbles like a distant storm, but in here, the war feels paused, men lying on cots, staring at nothing, waiting for pain or sleep to win. Then boots snap against the dirt, fast, hard, angry. You can almost feel the temperature change before you see him. General George S. Patton, Jr. storms through the entrance flap, polished helmet, ivory-handled pistols at his hips, riding crop in his hand. His eyes sweep the room like searchlights, sharp and unforgiving. Doctors stiffen. Nurses freeze mid-step. Wounded soldiers try to sit straighter, even with shrapnel in their bodies. Patton does not come to comfort. He comes to inspect. The general moves cot to cot, his voice low, clipped, lethal. "What's your wound, soldier? Where were you hit? When are you returning to duty?" Some men answer proudly, some whisper. Some can barely speak. Then Patton stops. On a narrow cot sits Private Charles H. Cole, helmet off, hands trembling, eyes hollow. No blood, no bandages. Just sweat running down his face like rain. Patton stares at him. "What's wrong with you, soldier?" Cole swallows. His voice cracks. I guess I can't take it anymore, sir." For a second, the tent goes silent. No bombs, no flies, no footsteps. Just breathing. Patton's jaw tightens. "Can't take what?" Cole's eyes fill. "The shelling, sir. The noise. The waiting. I haven't slept. My head feels like it's splitting. In today's world, we'd call it PTSD. In 1943, the Army called it something else. Battle fatigue, combat exhaustion, or worse, cowardice." Patton straightens, his voice hardens. "You're not wounded?" "No, sir." Patton steps closer. "You're telling me men are dying out there, and you're sitting in a hospital because you're tired?" Cole shakes. "I try, sir. I really try." That's when Patton explodes. His face turns red. Not anger fury, the kind that scares rooms into silence. "Try?" Patton slaps the soldier across the face. The crack echoes off the tent poles. Doctors gasp. Nurses flinch. Cole nearly falls off the cot. Patton grabs him by the collar. "You're a disgrace to the uniform. You're a coward. You're crying while real men are being blown apart." He slaps him again, harder. Then Patton shoves him backward onto the mattress. "Get back to the front lines. And if I ever see you in a hospital without blood on you again, I'll have you shot." The room is frozen. No one moves. No one speaks. You can almost hear the men thinking the same thing. Did America's greatest general just assault a wounded soldier? Patton turns on the staff. "What are you doing treating cowards? You're wasting beds on men who don't deserve them." He storms out. The tent flap snaps shut behind him, and the war resumes breathing. But something has changed. Because what just happened inside that quiet hospital tent will ripple all the way to General Dwight D. Eisenhower, to Washington, and nearly erase Patton from history. And this was only the first slap. Patton walks outside into the Sicilian sun like nothing happened. Dust clings to his boots. His pistols shine. Officers trail behind him, silent, nervous, afraid to ask questions. Patton believes something deep in his bones. War is willpower. To him, fear is the enemy before the Germans ever are. Since landing in Sicily weeks earlier, Patton has been driving the 7th Army mercilessly. Forced marches, night attacks, no rest. No excuses. He sleeps little, eats fast, pushes harder. Because Patton isn't just fighting Nazis, he's fighting time. He's competing with the British, especially Field Marshal Bernard Montgomery, racing across Sicily for glory, territory, and headlines. Every mile matters. Every delay feels like betrayal. And every man who breaks under pressure looks to Patton like a crack in the whole machine. Inside his mind, there is no room for weakness, but war doesn't care about philosophy. It breaks people anyway. That same day, Patton visits another hospital. Another tent, another row of broken men, and this time, it gets worse. Patton enters again. Same boots. Same crop, same cold eyes. He moves faster now, irritation simmering under the surface. Then he stops again. On a cot sits Private Paul G. Bennett. Bennett's hands twitch. His eyes dart. His helmet rests crooked beside him. Patton points. "What's wrong with you?" Bennett tries to stand. He fails. I can't hear well, sir, and my nerves." Patton cuts him off. "Nerves?" "Yes, sir." Patton's mouth curls. "What's your wound?" I don't have one, sir." That's when the fuse ignites. Patton grabs Bennett by the shirt. "You're another goddamn coward." He slaps him. Once, twice, 3 times. The sound cracks through the tent like gunfire. Bennett sobs. Patton pulls out his pistol halfway from the holster, not aiming, not firing, just letting everyone see it. "If you don't get back to your unit, I'll kill you myself." Doctors rush forward. One finally finds courage. "General, please. These men are sick." Patton spins. "Sick? They're quitters." He shoves Bennett back onto the cot and storms out again. This time, no one pretends it didn't happen, because witnesses start talking. Doctors whisper. Nurses write letters. Officers report upward. And within days, word of Patton's slaps travels faster than any tank column, across Sicily, across headquarters, across the Atlantic, toward one man who controls Patton's fate, General Dwight D. Eisenhower. And when Eisenhower reads the report, he doesn't see a hero. He sees a liability. Patton thinks he's building victory. Instead, he's building the moment that almost destroys him. And the question becomes, will America's most feared general survive his own temper? Or will one uncontrolled slap end his war forever? The sun is dropping behind Sicily's hills when the first report is typed. Not dramatic, not emotional, just dangerous. A medical officer sits at a wooden desk lit by a single bulb. Sweat rolls down his neck. His fingers hesitate over the typewriter keys, because what he's about to write isn't about Germans. It's about Patton. General George S. Patton, Jr. struck and threatened 2 soldiers suffering from combat exhaustion while visiting field hospitals. Every word feels like a bullet. The doctor knows what Patton represents. Speed, violence, victory. The general who storms beaches and breaks enemy lines. The man newspapers back home are already calling a legend. And legends are not supposed to lose control in hospital tents. But the doctor keeps typing, because silence would make him complicit. By morning, copies of the report move upward through division headquarters, through corps, through 7th Army staff. Officers read it quietly. Some shake their heads. Some defend Patton immediately. He's old school. He's trying to keep men fighting. He didn't mean real harm. But others see something else. They see a commander who just crossed a line the U.S. Army cannot afford to ignore. By the second day, the report lands on the desk of the Supreme Allied Commander himself, General Dwight D. Eisenhower. Eisenhower reads alone. His headquarters is calm. Maps cover the walls. Phones hum softly. Outside, staff officers move with purpose. Inside, Ike sits still. The paper trembles slightly in his hands. He reads about Cull, then Bennett, then the slaps, then the pistol half drawn, then the threat, "I'll kill you myself." Eisenhower exhales slowly through his nose. He knows Patton better than almost anyone. Brilliant, aggressive, unstoppable, and emotionally volatile. Patton wins battles, but he terrifies allies. Eisenhower leans back in his chair and stares at the ceiling, because this isn't just about 2 soldiers. It's about perception. America is fighting a moral war, a war for civilization, a war where leadership is supposed to mean restraint, not rage. If the press ever learns that a U.S. general beat a shell-shocked private, the Germans won't need propaganda. Washington will explode. Families will demand answers. Congress will demand blood. And Patton, no matter how valuable, will become radioactive. Eisenhower picks up the phone. "Get me Bradley." General Omar Bradley, Patton's subordinate and longtime rival, answers from another command tent. Bradley listens quietly as Eisenhower explains. When Ike finishes, there's a pause. Then Bradley says something dangerous. "Sir, Patton crossed the line." That's not easy for Bradley to admit. Because Patton is winning Sicily, because Patton is outrunning Montgomery, because Patton is delivering results faster than anyone expected. But results don't erase responsibility. Eisenhower closes his eyes. "What do you recommend?" Bradley hesitates. Then he needs to be disciplined. Publicly? Maybe not. But firmly, that word hangs in the air. Disciplined, not removed. Not celebrated. Controlled. Eisenhower thanks him and hangs up. But the problem isn't solved. Because Eisenhower isn't just a general. He's a politician in uniform, and politics are about timing. Patton is too valuable to lose before Normandy, but he's too dangerous to leave unchecked. So Eisenhower does something that feels small, but hits Patton harder than any slap. He writes a letter. The letter arrives at Patton's headquarters days later. A courier hands it over. Patton breaks the seal with confidence. He expects praise, maybe a promotion, maybe congratulations for racing across Sicily faster than anyone thought possible. Instead, he finds ice. Eisenhower's words are calm, professional, deadly. "You were completely unfit to command under such behavior. You gravely injured the image of the American army. Your actions were inexcusable." Patton's face tightens. He keeps reading. Then comes the order. "You will apologize personally to the soldiers involved and to the hospital staffs." Apologize. The word stabs deeper than any reprimand. Patton does not apologize. He conquers. He intimidates. He dominates. But now the Supreme Commander is telling him to bow. Patton crumples the paper in his fist. For the first time since landing in Sicily, he feels something unfamiliar. Fear. Not of Germans, not of bombs, but of losing relevance. Losing command. Losing the war before it reaches France. Patton walks outside his tent. The evening air is cool. Engines hum in the distance. He stares at the horizon where Sicily fades into sea, and realizes one mistake, two slaps, and his entire career is suddenly fragile. But Eisenhower isn't finished. He makes a second decision, one that never appears in newspapers at first, one that quietly rewrites Patton's future. He removes Patton from frontline leadership temporarily, not publicly, not officially. But operationally, Patton will finish Sicily. Then he will be shelved. No invasion command, no spearhead, no glory, just waiting. Patton doesn't know this yet. But behind closed doors, the Allies are already planning Normandy. And Patton, the most aggressive general in Europe, is not on the list. Days later, Patton obeys, reluctantly, angrily. He returns to the hospitals. The same tents, the same cots, the same men he once struck. But now, the room feels different, quieter. He walks slower, no riding crop swinging, no fire in his eyes. He stops beside Cull. The soldier stiffens. Patton clears his throat. His voice struggles against pride. "I regret what I did." The words taste bitter. "I was wrong." Doctors exchange glances. Nurses watch silently. Patton moves to Bennett. Another pause. Another forced breath. "I apologize." 2 sentences. But for Patton, They feel like surrender, and even as he speaks them, he doesn't realize the apology isn't saving him. It's marking him, because somewhere far from Sicily, a larger operation is taking shape, and Patton's name is quietly being erased from the assault plans. Not fired, not disgraced, but sidelined, and for a man addicted to movement, that is worse than exile. Patton returns to headquarters that night. Maps cover the table. France across the channel, Germany beyond that. The war is getting bigger, but his role is getting smaller, and the question hanging over his career becomes terrifyingly simple. Was Patton still America's weapon, or had he just become its risk? Because the next time he sees action, it won't be where he expects, and it won't be by choice.